Welcome to 2020 virtual book fair. It's called Tell Your Story. Today I have poet William Lewis and I have Ashley Mark, who wrote her first novel. And so before we get started, I wanted to go over introducing myself. I am Consuela Meehan. I am a poet and an author. And as I spoke in the first episode, I decided to do a virtual book fair to make up for everything that is being missed by the authors right now because our summer has been canceled. Fall isn't looking too good either. Um, and I wanted to create a platform where they could come and do an interview, introduce themselves, and discuss their book. And so we decided to do a video so you can meet the authors personally and understand their story and what they write about. And today we will get started with Ashley, and she will talk about her romance novel that she wrote.
So my name is Ashley Mark, and I wrote this romance novel, Interstellar. It's actually the second one in the series, and I just released it in July of 2019. It's like a kind of like a prequel to the first one. So it's about a woman named Lisa who she's growing up. She's about early 20s, and her parents have been taking care of her whole life, and she's like kind of been sheltered under them, and they were Jamaican immigrants, so she's trying to figure out what to do with her life as far as like just it's like a coming of age novel. Like she's trying to find romance and learn to take care of herself because she hasn't been independent ever. And she like gets her first job to show her parents that even though they're moving back to Jamaica, she can stay and take care of herself.
So what inspired you to write the romance novel?
So I've had, a pretty traumatic life, starting in childhood, just a lot of abuse and emotionally, mentally, and physically and things like that. And just like over the years in adulthood, it transferred over into my romantic relationships as well. And I just wanted to write my own story. Like I keep on running into all these relationships that aren't for me and they're not positive. And I wanted to speak on what I've been through, like in a therapeutic manner, as well as write a happy ending for myself. And when I started writing, I realized that other people were experiencing the same thing as me. So I kept picking a topic that I wanted to address with myself, and it just ended up turning into a whole book about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's relatable. And I can relate to that personally because when my mother, who has passed on, the counselor wanted me to like keep a journal of how I felt each day, and I was just like, I don't want to write about this.
Right.
Happy, I was in a very bad place at the time that she passed away, and I was dealing with depression, and so I started writing poetry again because I've always loved it in middle school, loved it in high school, and I'm like, I started writing poetry. I started writing some uplifting things, and some of it was a little melancholy. It's always good to write about life experiences, even if you don't make it a book or publish a book.
Absolutely.
But
Exactly.
great idea to do that. It's also therapeutic. Um,
Very.
to be able to take those steps to write that. So, with that being said, are the characters based on anybody that you know?
Um,
Won't name
some
names.
of
Yes.
the, so of course the main characters are like based on me, just from that point in my life. Like in this one, she finds out like there's like important moments where it's like well, in the first one it was like she had a miscarriage and I had that and I wanted to like address it, but of course I was kind of scared. So I touched on it a little bit more in Interstellar, and I did it from an outside point of view. It was like I was talking to myself in that manner. And then there are some characteristics that I took from my family and friends because they're who I know, you know? And
Yeah.
then there's some people that I just completely made up because this is like an alternate timeline of my life. So I don't know those folks.
Now, will we see a third book from you? Will there be another
Yeah,
one?
there will be a third book in the series, hopefully
Awesome.
soon. But I started writing it, and I'm not gonna lie, I was like crying. So I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to go there yet, but I'm definitely gonna do it.
Well, that's understanding, but make sure that you do write it. And this is a great time to write it because we are really literally not living right now, we're existing. A
Exactly.
lot of us, even when we go outside, we have to wear a mask. Some businesses aren't open. We are definitely in a different time that I have ever seen in my life.
Right.
And it's affecting the adults, it's affecting the kids,
Yeah.
it's affecting
Yes.
everybody. And so this is a perfect time to write, to tell your story, whether it's poetry, fiction, of course, nonfiction, a children's book, whatever it is. And I have a lot of authors come to me and they'll say, I want to write. Any advice? Well, my advice is to tell your story. Too much we get caught up in, will my book do well? Will people listen to it? Is there someone else that have written the same thing? Even if there's another romance novel out there, you have to focus on yours,
Right. That's right.
body,
Exactly.
visual, and we have to tell our personal stories as a writer, whatever it may be, and not worry so much about what somebody else is writing.
Right. I
So,
completely agree. It's like everybody's story is my life experience. Even people who can relate to me, they
Yes.
haven't had the
Yes.
experience that I had. So my story will still
Yes.
be individual.
and there's a lot of people that will be able to read it and relate to it, and this would be a story of empowerment for you. And the ladies I had on last Saturday, they were amazing. One did, she told her story. She lost her $2 in a fire, and it was a good story of empowerment for her to tell her story and be able to um, basically keep their legacy going,
Right.
her precious baby. So you never know who is reading your book, who's getting some good advice from it, and being able to push through just because you decided to tell your story,
Exactly. That's true.
Absolutely.
to do that. Now, with that being said, if Lifetime was to come to you and say, we want to make this a Lifetime series, what would be your answer? Would you be like, yes?
Yes, yes. I feel like one, I already feel like we need more accurate Black representation
Yes.
everywhere in all types of media. So of course I would be willing. And two, I love that. Like I love writing, but sometimes some of the things that I can't write, I'm like, I need people to see this.
Yes. Yes.
So
Definitely.
definitely.
Yes, Lifetime would be a good. I could see the miniseries being on Lifetime. Lifetime, we're calling you.
Right. And please listen to this
Yes.
video.
Listen.
So thank you for being on this morning. We had an author cancel at the last minute. He had a family emergency, so hopefully everything is good with him. William, what is your story? You wrote a book of poetry.
Yes. So my story is, um, I'm gonna take some from Bishop T.D. Jakes. He called them downloads. I've been getting these downloads for many years. Just God to put stuff in my spirit, and He give me these thoughts, and I just write them down. I remember a few years ago, just every night putting my son to sleep, I'm holding him and I'm typing in, just these thoughts that God put in my spirit in my phone, and I like email them to myself. And next thing I know, it was like about 30 of them. And so I just kept writing and kept writing and kept writing. And I would see stuff like on the news. One of my poems is called "A Letter to My Little Black Sister." And what made me write this particular poem was I saw this young African American young lady that she got sent home from school for having dreads in her hair, and she was crying and she was upset, and I was angry at that. It made me angry, and my heart was broken for this young lady because I'm like she was like 10, and you guys are trying to crush her spirits already. You know, so I wrote a poem just to inspire my young Black sisters. Say, you know, you're beautiful, your hair is beautiful, your skin is beautiful, you know, because we are, you know, our Black women are often demonized and, you know, angry Black woman, and we know that's not the case, you know, and so I just felt compelled to write stuff to inspire, to move, to make people think. You know, unfortunately, last September 6th, I lost my only sister, and we were extremely close. And one of my poems is dedicated to my sister. It's called The Front Row, where I talk about, you know, I've been to a lot of funerals, unfortunately, in my life, but this was the first time that I had to be on the front row. And I had to actually, you know, go up there and, you know, give a speech about my sister, you know, and so, you know, it was therapeutic for me at the same time, because it gave me a chance to honor my sister and to just express my feelings and my emotions. And, you know, it just really helped me to write this poetry book in a way that it came across as being authentic and being real and being just, you know, I just went real deep inside when I started, you know, after she passed away, because when she passed away, I was writing a poetry book, but after she passed away, I just went into overdrive with my emotions and everything. And, you know, when people read my poetry book, they'll see the emotions in it, the raw emotions in it.
That's a good story, and I am sorry to hear about your sister. I've definitely lost a lot of people in my lifetime, so that's something that I relate to.
Yeah.
Grief is a the final act of love,
Yes.
and
Yes, it is. Yeah.
no book about how to grieve. You just are shocked, and then after the funeral, you get through the funeral, but then after that, it's like, how do you live without the love from somebody else? Well, in
Yeah.
all honesty, you always have their love forever. They're never gone, in a sense.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. And it's interesting because my sister was 10 years older than me. I'm 47. I'll be 48 in October. And, you know, it's like, how do you live your life without somebody that's been in your life your whole life? You know, my sister, like, she was my everything. Like, you know, she was like, you know, we were like extremely connected, joined at the hip. We were tight, you know, and so, you know, I was like, wow, it just like every day I wake up, because I have her picture on the side of my bed, and I see her name is Natasha. I said, Tasha, I love you. I miss you. It's just, I talk to her every day. You know, her, like you said, her spirit is here. Her shell is gone, but her spirit is alive and well. And I feel her spirit every day, every single day. And, you know, Leanne, you know, I just had a son. My wife just gave birth to our third child.
Yeah,
And
congratulations.
thank you. And so it was hard because my sister was there for the first two births of our children, and for her not to be here for the third, it was hard. It was very difficult. You know, I cried because she wasn't there, but I cried too because my son was being born. And, you know, it was so many emotions going through me that day. And, you know, and so, you know, you just have to thank God for each day you have with your loved ones, because you never know. You just never know when it be that last time you might have that moment with them. So you can't take it for granted.
I wrote a poem called "Love Never Dies," and the situation that you're speaking of is definitely the reason why I wrote it, because it really truly doesn't. You could be in a car, listen to a song, or watching the movie,
Yeah.
or any going shopping, or anything that you did with that person, and excuse me, and you're reminded of their existence here. And so I always say love never dies. When the flesh is asleep, the love isn't. It's always gonna be here, and you'll always have it forever. So I'm gonna put you on a spot, and I am going to ask you to read a poem.
From the book.
Yes.
Okay, I can do that. You want me to choose a poem to read, or you want to let me see. Let's see here. Okay, I'll read a short one.
Okay.
You know, for the sake of time, I'll read a short one. Okay, here we go. So the name of this poem is called Human. I'm humiliated daily, called bad names and disrespected. My bed is made of concrete. My bed gets cold at night. I try my best to stay warm. I can't get comfortable. I hear loud noises all through the night. I compete with the rats and the birds for food. The rats and the birds eat better than me. The rats and the birds are ruthless. I can't take it anymore. Where will I go? I have no one to call. I'm stuck here. People walk past me but fail to acknowledge my presence. There are those rare occasions when I encounter an empathetic being. I often wish that my life was better. I get very lonely. I'm always hungry. Please bring me something to eat. Please bring me some clean clothes. Please direct me to a shower. Please help me to regain my dignity. Please tell the police that I'm harmless. I have feelings too. I cry frequently. I am tired of living. God wakes me up every day. My life has purpose. Please pray for me.
That was amazing. Snap.
Thank you. Thank
Right.
you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I know that there's people that can definitely relate to that. It's unfortunate that our country, we have more people in that situation than we should.
Yes.
Especially since COVID has hit, and a lot of people are going through losing a lot of things, their job, family, money. So that's definitely a poem that we can relate to during these times.
Yes.
Change up a little bit. I'm going to ask you both, what is a story in your life that you remember that was really crazy, that was kind of comical, but really crazy? And actually, I'll let you go first.
This is like the most random story, but when you said that, it just popped into my head. So I grew up in Brooklyn, and one time, I don't know where we were going, but me and my mom were on our way home. Well, I know where we were going. We were on our way home. I don't remember where we came from though. And she had just bought me a new pair of like shoes, and I begged her. I think I was like 7, and I begged her to let me put them on. And she threw away my old shoes and let me put the new ones on. And we probably made it like a block before something happened. I maybe tripped or something, and my shoe fell in the sewer, and she had to carry me. He was so mad because he had to get on the bus and everything. And I was like, I can't put my foot on the ground. So yeah, that's my
funny.
story.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off of Ashley's story because mine has to do with shoes as well. My first job I ever had, I worked at Toys R Us, and a friend of mine, we were going to lunch, and the day before it rained, and so it was real muddy outside. And you guys remember karate shoes?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had a pair of karate shoes on, so we was walking through the mud. And we didn't realize it was mud at the time, but we kind of looked down. We like, oh, it's muddy, and it was still like kind of wet. So I'm trying to run out the mud and end up my shoes get swallowed by the mud.
Oh my God.
And I walk, and then my buddy, he's laughing hysterically, and I'm not laughing at all because it's not funny to me at all. And I had to go back inside the store and tell my boss I just lost my shoes, and they started laughing. So then I started laughing. So yeah, I never found, needless to say, I never found those shoes. They dissolved into the earth, to the soil.
Tell you a crazy story. It doesn't have, well, it has to do with shoes, but kind of not. It has to do with socks.
Uh-huh.
And when my son was 3 or 4 years old, I had got them some dinner, and he wanted a cheeseburger. Kids are picky. We all know kids are picky. He wanted a cheeseburger. We're down, we're eating it. And I get up first to clean the kitchen, and I told them to get in the shower and get ready for school tomorrow. Preston didn't have school at the time, but he goes in the bathroom to get ready to take a shower, and I'm cleaning the kitchen and I'm cleaning the dining room area, and I look down on the floor and I'm picking his socks up. had mustard on it. And I'm like, so he was telling me when we were eating, he didn't want any mustard on his burger. So I'm like, this child took his.
Oh no.
Oh my God.
and, and mustard today. It was like, I'm gonna put my sock on here and wipe this mustard off this hamburger. And I'm just like, I knew then that I should probably not have any more children. I'm like, things like that. Like, I'm gonna just take my sock off. I ain't, put no mustard.
That's funny. That's incredible.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
If nobody else inspires you to write, children should inspire you to write, because
Yes,
the things
yes.
that they think of.
Much
So many.
material.
He's definitely a character. My son is definitely a character. And
Mhm.
so in closing, I want to say thank you both for sharing your stories with me this morning and sharing them with the world. And before we sign out, Ashley, can you hold your books, both of your books up, and let everybody know where they can purchase them?
Yes. Shockwave is the first one, and then Interstellar is the second one, and they're both available on Amazon.com.
They will also be available on the YouTube channel under Consuelo Meehan. There will be a link to every author's book right under the video. And we're working on a website, and I will let you guys know soon when it's up for all the authors. And then, William, what is your book?
So my book is From My Heart and Spirit to Yours, a collection of poetry. It's available on Amazon, Target, and wherever books are sold.
There's nothing like getting your first book in the mail, when you get to hold it and you see
Oh
it.
my God.
It's just such an exciting feeling. And so
Yeah.
make sure you spread the word about the online book fair so that our authors can get a platform to be able to tell their story, and they can have it on different platforms like Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I'm pushing for you guys, obviously, which is why I created this whole book fair. And like I said, go on the YouTube channel. It will be listed under my name, Consuelo Meehan. It will also be on Facebook. We have a new episode every Saturday. And I want to thank you guys for joining me this morning. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And if you have any other questions for me later on after this, let me know. And thanks so much.